printing money is bad, right? It's inflationary. But borrowing printed money is insane.
Well, when you think about Japan, China, the ECB, and the Fed all QE and printing, right? QEing, inflating their monetary system. How could there not be more demand for physical and gold, physical silver, gold, and platinum, or land, or productive art, antiques or whatever? How could there not be? People aren't that brain dead.
No, and it's strictly it's strictly a matter of division. You know, there's only one of these, and there's 10,000 of these. Well, that's a pretty simple math equation. So 10,000 to 1. That's why I've always told folks, if you want to really express your wealth, you have to express it as a fraction. So if you had $1 back in 1980, then that should have been expressed as 1 over 1 trillion. Simple. There was $1 trillion in circulation, and you had one of them. And today that number would have to be expressed as something like 1 over 18 trillion.
Or 20.
Or 20.
We don't
know. They won't tell us anymore.
It's a big number.
And it's funny, as I look back, I remember that day that they decided they weren't going to tell us anymore.
What was it about 2008 or 9? No, 6. 6 or 7, I remember.
Before it all started, they said, well, we're not going to tell you anymore. Why? Well, because it would be easy for you to figure out what was going on if you could just see how quickly we're growing the supply of money.
That's when they did the M1, M2, M3.
M3, correct. So now, that 1 over 20 trillion means that the dollar has stayed the same. That paper dollar looks exactly the same. But it's lost so much of its purchasing power imperceptibly. You didn't see your money get smaller. You didn't see the content of paper reduced, as it would have been in the case of a gold coin. All you know is that when you go to the grocery store, and China, cheaper food notwithstanding, imports notwithstanding, prices are higher across the board, except where we've decimated our industry and shipped these jobs overseas and are now bringing back inferior products, something that looks like a can opener. Grandma had a can opener.
Looks like a can.
Right, and it would last 50 years, Grandma's can opener. Metal, made in the United States, and, you could open 10 million cans with it. It still works. You buy one of those new Walmart can opener, and 2 years it's broken, and you have to buy a new one. It's an inferior product. So we've given up all of that quality. Yeah, it's a cheaper can opener, but, if you amortize it over the life of the thing, it's not cheaper. And this is where I think we've gone way wrong. So all of the inflation has been hidden in these cheaper goods, free trade, trust funds, but it's there. As sure as that S&P chart overlays, it's there. The inflation is there. It just has been hidden, and in that fashion, that allows those that had use of the money first to get the best use of the money. They're able to buy physical possession, gold and silver and art and antiques and jewelry and real estate and things that are mispriced because of the hidden inflation.
And then what factors are going to enforce the inflation appearance of the effects of inflation or inflation in the monetary system really come out what you call, your quote has been massive inflation.
Yeah.
A lot of people use the term hyperinflation.
No.
But you've always used massive.
Right.
Will it continue, in your opinion, Andrew Gause, continue to go slowly, just keep ramping up month after month?
Yeah.
Or will we...
Just like that.
Just like that.
And you may see an acceleration here and there.
So Starbucks goes from $3.25 to $4.
Right.
Or to $3.40 to $3.60.
That's right.
Or whatever.
Or
Netflix goes from $16 a month to $18, whatever they do.
Or the 16-ounce can becomes a 14-ounce can.
Yeah, they do that.
And the price remains the same.
Yeah.
So it is the beginnings, really. And of course, the number one driving component of this is wage rates. Wage rates. As you see more and more wage actions, as people start demanding a higher wage.
Because they just can't make it anymore.
You can't make it, no. I use this analogy all the time now. In my first job, $1 an hour. you talked about your car, right? That first car,
2300 brand
2300,
new,
right?
1969 Austin Haley Sprite yellow.
Yeah,
Wow, beauty.
Yeah.
$2,300.
$2,300. Same car today.
1969.
23,000. So, the
At
way,
least.
yeah, and if you of course took that dollar an hour wage, then you'd have to be making, let's say, the equivalent of $10 an hour, and really it's much higher than that, in order to have the same purchasing power. So, folks, kids today starting get $7.25 an hour. And while that might seem like 7 times what somebody was making in 1965, it is, in fact, not quite half of what they were making in 1965.
And I